Hello, my name is Heather Longoria. Today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite yoga poses, which is called Constructive Rest. So, if you are working on your computer and you notice that files are taking a long time to save, your cursor is getting frozen on the screen, or there just seems to be a disconnect between what you're telling your computer to do and what's appearing on the screen, often the first step that you take is to, well, first yell at your computer and get frustrated with it. But then when you realize that doesn't work, then you reboot your computer, and oftentimes that fixes things. So as humans, we are often driven or believe that in order to be successful in life, we need to do more, be more productive, take on more responsibilities. But what we forget is that we also that we need a balance. So if we can't always be doing more without doing less to offset that. So that's just one of the fundamental laws of the world, of the universe, is that there always has to be a yin to the yang, a black to the white, a warm to the cold. So in order for us to keep being successful in life, we need to take time to rest and restore and to reboot our human systems as well. So if you feel yourself getting like that frenetic kind of tension energy in your chest, if you feel just tired and worn out, or if you feel like your brain just isn't working the way that it's supposed to, or if you just feel like you're moving really fast through life and you need to slow down, this is an excellent posture to help you reboot your system. So you're going to need a few props for this yoga pose. You can grab a blanket. So there's nothing special or magical about these blankets that you see in all the yoga studios, so it doesn't have to be this kind. Any blanket will work. If you have a yoga bolster, that is a great prop to have. If you don't have that, you can grab a pillow or just grab a few heavy, thick blankets that have some substance and some heft to them. And then you also want to grab a yoga block if you have a yoga block. If you don't have a block, you can just grab a book. And then if you happen to have a sandbag, a yoga sandbag, we can use this as well too. All right, so to get yourself situated, if you can get down on the floor and that's comfortable for you, I encourage you to do this pose on the floor. Otherwise, you can try it in the bed and get many of the same benefits. So you just want to lay your yoga mat out on the floor, and you can see that I have it laid in perfect parallel to the floorboards. So that's just my own neuroticism displaying itself. I don't like to have my yoga mat askew to another horizontal surface. So you don't have to follow my neuroticism, but if that's important to you, just take a minute, make sure that everything is lined up in such a way that it's not going to bug you when you're laying on the mat. Okay, so let's see, I might need to pull you a little bit closer here. Okay, so what you're gonna do is take your yoga bolster or your really thick blankets, and you're gonna put it towards the bottom edge of the mat. All right, there we go. I'll pull you a little bit closer. Okay. So you're gonna put the bolster underneath your knees, and then you're gonna lay back. So this is also called half corpse pose. If you go to yoga class, you might know it better by that terminology. So you're gonna take your knees and you're gonna let them just externally rotate so that they can relax on the bolster, so that you don't have to have any muscular energy holding your legs up like this. So you're just gonna let them relax. You're gonna let your feet fall out to the side, and then grab your blanket. And I want you to be warm and cozy and comfortable for this pose. So one way that our nervous system can feel safe, which is a prerequisite for any sort of calming down of the body, is to be warm. So you can either, I should have told you this before, but you could grab some socks and put some socks on so that your feet are warm. Otherwise, you can just grab your blanket and toss it over your legs. All right, and then I'm going to tuck that under my feet so they stay nice and cozy. And again, make sure that my legs are externally rotated. And then from here, you can grab your block or your book, and you can place it on your belly. And then you're going to take your arms and you're going to externally rotate them. So it's like you're going to spin your arm bone out to the side so that your elbow pits are like facing up to the wall. And then you're just going to let your arms rest a couple inches away from your body. And then from here, just let your attention rest on the back of the head. So you can feel the back of your skull just kind of melting down into the mat. And then let your awareness sink into your scapula or your shoulder blades. And on the exhale, you notice how they just kind of soften, and just trust the earth to completely support them. So I don't know if you can hear my stomach, it's making all sorts of crazy noises. So already my body is like tuning into a parasympathetic state where it feels like it's safe to rest and digest and restore. So you hear me digest my plantain potato chips. And then let your awareness like settle on your sacrum. So that's that little flat bone right at the base of the spine. And again, as you exhale, you feel that sacrum just kind of soften down as it relaxes down to the ground. And then let your awareness come back to your eyes. So I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that. Otherwise, if you are not comfortable closing your eyes, just see if you can soften your gaze. So you're kind of like tuning into your peripheral vision, reducing the focusing of your eyes. And then let your face soften. And let your jaw release so your teeth are not clenched together. Your tongue is resting on the roof of the mouth. Your lips are gently sealed. And you are breathing in and out through your nostrils. And then let your awareness just settle right in your belly. So you can feel for your belly button, you can feel for your frontal hip bone here, you can feel for your pubic bone, and kind of you just want to let your awareness just like pool right here in that kind of triangle from hip bone to hip bone down to pubic bone. And if you have the book or the block resting on it, that will also help you keep your attention focused there. And then as you breathe in, watch that book rise. And then as you breathe out, watch that book fall. Each inhale, you're watching the book rise up. Each exhale, you're watching the book fall back down. So one other variation, if you do have this is hard to pull from this angle, this is a 10-pound sandbag. You can grab your sandbag and just let that rest, like right where your pelvis intersects with your legs. And this will just further help kind of ground down your pelvis to the earth. So you can play with that for a few breaths too. Inhaling, feeling your belly swell into the sandbag. And then exhaling and feeling the weight of the sandbag just like securing your sacrum more closely to the earth. And try that for a couple breaths. Just seeing, did the block or the book feel better on your belly, or does the sandbag feel better? And then choosing whichever option fits you better today. And we are going to stay here. Once you get completely settled in, set your timer for 10 minutes and stay here for 10 minutes, just watching your belly rise and fall with each inhale and exhale. And your mind will definitely get caught by a thought. So when that happens, just smile and congratulate yourself, because this is evidence that you are doing a mindfulness practice. You are trying to focus your awareness on the breath, but you noticed when your awareness was caught by a thought, and you noticed it and you brought it back to the book. So that is a practice. It's just to try to keep your awareness focused on that belly rising and falling, but being non-judgmental and accepting when your mind does get caught by a thought, and then just bringing your awareness, disengaging from the thought, and just letting your awareness circle back to the belly, and just repeating that cycle over and over again for about 10 minutes. So, and then to get out of the pose, I like to just pull one knee into my chest, take a couple of breaths there, other knee into the chest, and then both knees into the chest. Stretch out the lower back a little bit, and then just rolling over to one side, and then you can transition back up to seated. And another good practice to do is at the beginning, before you get into constructive rest, do a little inventory and note, like, what's the pace of my heartbeat? How fast is my heart beating right now? How fast are those thoughts skittering across my brain? What's the state of tension in like my shoulders and my jaw and my belly? Maybe even writing that down on a piece of paper. And then when you get done with just this 10-minute practice, checking out and checking back in again, how did that change the pace of my thoughts? How did that change the pace of my heartbeat? How did that change the level of tension in my body? And that will really help you tune into the power of this reboot for your body, and the power of the power and the necessity of recovery time in order for us to feel well and to be well and to and continue on with daily life. So hopefully you found that helpful. If anything I said didn't make sense, or if you need any tips about where to get like a sandbag or yoga bolster or anything like that, just hit me up in the comments. Thanks. Bye.